Hello and welcome to another interesting episode of Enterprise Morning on Enterprise TV. I am Henry Igwebike. Right about now, we'll be going to our newspaper headlines to see what they have for us this morning, and right after that will be our main conversation also for today. And while we do all of that, please do well to visit our website at www.enterprisetvnews.com and also like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV 7. With me in the studios to make sense of our newspaper headlines today is Dr. Olayinka Oyemide. He is a communicator and also a public affairs analyst. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
Nice to have you today.
Nice to be here again.
Yes. All right, so quickly let's start up our newspaper headlines with the Nation newspaper. And the big story there says security men raise bar in battle against kidnappers. And the writer there says Air Force bombs terrorist. Army police rescue scores from abduction. And two traditional rulers killed in Ekiti. Policeman in Imo, mother and daughter murdered in FCT. And on the downstream of the same newspaper, we have CBN injects $500 million into Forex market. A Badon blast. Makinde lashes out at Atiku. And on the top sleeve of the same newspaper, we have Russia behind Niger, Burkina Faso, Mali, Ecowas quit a threat, and that is coming from Bolaji Akinyemi, former Foreign Affairs Minister. And also we have Yahaya Bello to replace Ganduje's poster floods Abuja. Insecurity state police calls gets louder. Doctor, let's crisscross out of Nigeria to what's happening in the sub-region. And of course, we all know the trending news right now, and that's about Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali deciding that enough is enough, and they're no longer having anything to do with Ecowas. And Bolaji Akinyemi is saying that all of that is a factor coming from Russia. How true is this? And if that is true, how do you think the West would take this?
Well, I'm not surprised that the three countries are saying that, and it looks as if we are back to the old days of Cold War. Anything America supports, Russia will be against it. And now Russia is trying to befriend these three countries. It's like a new scramble for Africa, although Russia never had any colonized country anywhere in the world. But I think that with what is happening, every one of the two, especially the two recognized world powers, will try to befriend them, but how far that will help them, I really don't know. Because we have the situation also, we know what happened in Russia, between Russia and the US, and Bin Laden and the rest of them in other parts of the world. So let them continue, but how does those three countries, how do they want to survive? Because in all honesty, if all African countries or West African countries are determined to squeeze them in, they can. Because most of them are landlocked, and they depend on Nigeria and neighboring countries to get some of the supplies that they have. And as much as we are going to help them, I think the citizens are the ones that will help them the most. I mean, the citizens of those countries. You will remember that the other day I was watching Senator Shehu Sani on TV, and he was saying that no matter what pressure Nigeria or Ecowas put on them, if the citizens don't put the pressures on them, nothing will change. For instance, he gave an example of Nigeria, that It was Nigerians that drove out the military from power in Nigeria. Despite all the sanctions from other countries and all that. So if the citizens are satisfied or look satisfied with whatever is happening in their country, there's nothing anybody can do. Russia will only try to assist them for its own benefit, because you are running away from France, you are going to Russia now, one colonial power to another. So,
but the reality on ground is that the Nigerians, and other countries that have, called it a quid from France, are doing well. Economically, those countries are looked at countries that are even doing better than those that haven't left their colonialist. And the truth of the matter is, in line with what you said, of course, it is the duty of the citizenry to ensure whether or not the administration they have is fair or not so fair. But the citizens appear to be excited with what is happening because their life is better off.
That's what I'm saying, that even if Ecowas wants to squeeze them in and whatever, as long as the citizens are happy with the government, there's nothing anybody can do, unless you want to take a war to their doorstep. And that will not help anybody in the economy of the world today, except the US and Russia, perhaps. Which country has the resources to go and fight another country or fight the war for citizens of another country? So I think we should just continue to look at them and see how far they will go. Because as far as me I'm concerned, I think they are just playing to the gallery.
You said playing to the gallery.
Yes.
Where does this leave our country? Because it will be difficult for Nigerians, for example, who want to travel to those places. It will be a lot stricter for them to do that. Businesses that used to flourish between two neighboring countries, Nigeria and Niger, would no longer be the same way. Nigeria, that happens to be the big brother, would have to be a lone ranger at this point, because it needs those countries if they are to do well. So where does this leave Nigeria as a country?
If I'm going to give a very honest opinion, at least to my knowledge, those countries, especially Nigeria, they need Nigeria more than Nigeria needs them. So if they close their border, they are the one that will suffer. Well, maybe because during festivities we go there to buy ram and all that. I think that's the only thing. Apart from that, most of the things that they use in their countries are gotten from Nigeria. Those cross-border trade. In fact, if you go to places like Sokoto, Kano, and the rest of them, a part of the house can be in Nigeria, the other part is in Niger. So,
but doctor, remember that the Nigeria-Morocco gas pipeline is going through in Niger. So that is, if you talk about what that means for us, that is part of it, and it's a $30 billion project. So isn't that a disadvantage for us as a country?
It's not going to pass through that country free of charge. They are also going to benefit from it. So if they think they want to cut Nigeria off, you cannot cut off your face to spite your nose. So, or cut off your nose to spite your face, whichever one. So, as far as I'm concerned, they have more to lose leaving the Ecowas than the Ecowas getting worried over them. They should just continue to watch them or monitor them and see how it goes. At a point when the citizens are no longer comfortable, they will begin to kick, and then something will give way.
All right, so let's move to the Daily Trust newspaper. The big story, of course, still has the same issue: Ecowas crisis, Nigeria at receiving end. And the writer there says citizens would require visas to travel across exiting countries. Terrorists might up their game, security experts saying, and we will be poorer and that is coming from a Nigerian expert. And on the top sleep of the same newspaper, we have Naira plunges to 1,500 to $1 at the parallel market. And also we have UK suspends a British Nigerian minister for calling Israel's action a genocide. And on the bottom slip of the same newspaper, we have Union Polaris Keystone Bank's investors contest take over, and the writer there says CBN's action is in breach of own rule, petitions President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Doctor, let's talk about this issue of the Naira plunging to 1,500 to $1 at the parallel market. And of course, the CBN is, because of that, injecting $500 million into the forex market. How do you think this helping the economy? Would that in any way help the economy? Would that trickle down the Naira as against the dollar?
Well, I'm not an economist. I always say that. And like one of our senior colleagues is late now with the motor park, he calls himself a motor park economist.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, this issue of Naira and dollar exchange rate, if we don't watch the way it is going to get worse. Why do I say so?
Yeah.
Majority of our politicians don't spend Naira again.
True.
The moment they give federal allocation, if you watch very well, that's the time the exchange rate will shoot up. Why? Because all of them, they don't have any faith in Nigeria. They are just there for whatever they can get. They have headache, they are in France. They have leg pain, they are in London. They have stomach upset, they are in the US. They have this, they are in Israel. So, as far as they are concerned, they are only here in Nigeria to get what they can get.
To milk the cow.
Exactly. So, now, recently, there was something that took over the social media. They called her a businesswoman who went to Grenada to celebrate her birthday.
Achimogu.
What did we see there?
Wads of dollar notes.
Wads of dollar notes. $100 bills.
Yes.
$100 bills. I've been to the US several times. You can never. It's very hard for you to see $100 bills in circulation in the US. It is mostly Nigerians or travelers who bring it in. And when you go to any shop, if you bring out $10, $20, $50 bills, fine, they will give you your change, your whatever you bought. But immediately it is $100 bills, it's either they go behind or they subject it to infrared to be sure that. And if you are a black person, the first question they will just look at you, Nigerian. That's the first thing that comes to their mind, because they know that Nigerians are the ones who carry that dollar bill. So when you coming back to that video, if you looked at that video, there are words and words of $100 bills there was, and then you ask yourself, so these people have spoiled the Naira, pata, they are now going to dollar. And I said something the other time. It is not scientific, neither is it, how do I put it? Neither is it economical, does it have economic theory to back it up? I said this, and somebody said it was an insult. I said, okay. The president, let the president bring out $100,000 from his pocket, because the president cannot tell me he doesn't have it.
Yeah.
The governors bring out $50,000, because the governors, apart from the state force, I'm saying, their own personal money.
Yeah.
the law does not allow it, but they have it.
True.
I'm sure the U.S. president cannot bring out $100,000 from his house or anywhere it is. So the president should bring out $100,000. The governors, 36 states, should bring out $50,000. Ministers, maybe let's put their own at 25, and so on and so forth. Then let us gather all this. It won't amount to much.
Yeah.
But if all this money are put in the bank, in the central bank, you will see that the naira to dollar rate will crash. It is small money as far as these people are concerned, but it's big money for us in Nigeria.
True.
Because, as I said earlier on, most of these people don't keep naira. A colleague of mine told me a story, a former governor, an oil producing state,
Yes.
who came to Lagos and met media editors and leaders in Lagos. And when they were leaving, this was about 10 years ago. And when after all the sumptuous meal, they met in one of these 5-star hotels on VI. After all the sumptuous meal they gave them, each and every one of them who left there left with nothing less than $8,000.
Whoa.
In an envelope, brown and white envelope this time, not white, not brown.
Brown.
So now, then you ask yourself, if you had wanted to give them naira, you know what it means. You will have to bring bags and bags. So these people don't spend naira. So the naira will continue to depreciate while the dollar will rise. Where did Achimugo get all those dollars to go and spend in Grenada? Yeah, of course, you got it from the business she transacts. Is it in foreign denominated, is it in dollar denominated business? Maybe she is selling something or producing whatever she's producing in Abuja or wherever it is. People who make honest living will not spend the money, will not spray money the way she sprayed it. So, relating that to the issue of Naira exchange rate, as I said earlier on, the Naira exchange rate will continue to go that way because people don't have faith in the Naira. Gone were the days when Nigerians, they said travel abroad, especially to UK, immediately you are landing, people will be asking you, please, do you have Naira? They want to give you pound sterling to collect your Naira.
Wow.
Today, it is the other way around.
To the case.
So, Naira will continue to fall as long as politicians continue to amass this dollar in their own. I can tell you today, there are more dollars in Nigeria. In Nigeria, in the hands of Nigeria, more than it is in the hands of Americans. What do I mean? No American will keep $5,000 or $10,000 raw cash, no matter how highly placed he is. But in Nigeria, you have people like that who keep all these dollars in their homes.
It's a source of it's a status. It's
exactly. So that's what I'm saying.
Status
what sense does it make? You are attending a party being held in Nigeria, and you are spraying people dollars. And it is only in Nigeria that you have $50. The exchange rate of $50 is lower than that of $100. The exchange rate of $50 is lower than that of 20, 10, and all. In every other country that I know, the dollar is dollar. Yeah. But in Nigeria, it is not. We have so much. The same way we destroyed our own national league is the same way they are doing with Naira now. You remember that in those days, even musicians that are unlettered, people like Anila, Omawura, and the rest of them, when Nigeria plays national, what do they call it now? In a national league, the national league, when they get to the final, these musicians, when they, whether it is Mighty Jet or Nugu Rangers and stationary stores, they will sing about it. But systematically, they destroyed our National League. Now they are all talking of Arsenal, all those foreign clubs and all that. The same way they are going, they've done, or is it they are going or they've done with our Naira. They spoiled the Naira completely. Now everybody is running after dollar. Why? Why is it that people are never proud of their own? I mean, it makes me sad that what kind of people are we? We have been colonized. We say we have independence, but we are still thinking like colonized people.
That's truly very unfortunate. Now let's go to the last daily for today, and this coming from the Guardian newspaper, and the big story there says single-use plastic ban in Lagos. Business shops for alternatives. Advocate incentivized recycling. And also on the bottom slip of the same newspaper, we have 2,423 people killed, 1,872 kidnapped in 8 months under Tinubu. Nigeria, Ghana lead West Africa's identity fraud case. And EFCC arraigns impeached Ogun speaker over alleged 2.5 billion naira fraud. Doctor, let's go economical for a while, and especially a business. And I'd love to have your 2 cents on this. Talking about Lagos State banning the use of single-use plastics in the state, and business shops are searching for alternatives. Do you think that is enough business? Does it make any business sense, really, at this time in Nigeria? Is that the priority of governance? Instead of creating or building avenues for businesses to strive, it is retargeting its agenda to killing businesses that are already striving and just trying to float because they're trying to be more into recycle than people who are even more affected.
Yeah, you know, as I said earlier on, when you are faced with a tough problem, you look at your options.
Okay.
And there is no better time you take any decision that there won't be a way to find
naysayers.
No, not even naysayers. Some fault in it.
Okay.
As far as I'm concerned, the issue of one-use plastic ban is coming at the right time.
Okay.
Coming at the right time because, look, when you look at the way we behave in this country, you begin to ask yourself, is it that we don't have a sense that we are polluting our environment? Anytime it rains, just go to any drainage or any gutter or anything, and you see all these things packed in.
Because there's no effective drainage system, not because...
No, I don't agree with that. You see, in Nigeria, we may say that we don't have adequate. It may not be adequate. But even as inadequate as it is, we still abuse it. Why will a man be in his vehicle, air-conditioned vehicle, or even if it is a commercial vehicle you are in Danfo, you finish drinking a bottle of water, rather than drop it in the vehicle, so that the vehicle, when they get to where they are going, they can pack it up and find a place. You open your window, you roll down your window, and then throw out the bottle. And then when these same bottles clog the drainage, you will blame the government, that the government is not doing its best. How will the government do its best when you are not helping the government?
But sir,
Sorry, Henry. It's like you are in your home. You sit down in the sitting room there and defecate there.
Yeah.
And then you now want to blame. Is it the government you are going to blame? No.
But sir,
people must be responsible.
Yeah, people must be responsible. Of course, I agree the need for us to have attitudinal change. But you will agree with me, in the same Nigeria, Cross River State has been, known as the cleanest city in Nigeria for quite some time.
Because people make it a habit.
Yes, because the same Nigerians that live in Lagos are the same Nigerians that possibly would love to travel to Cross River State. But if you take a look at it, you would understand that the government had been very instrumental in making that work. Number one, when a government does not provide adequate refuse disposal system, and the one that it's obtainable is not good enough, you have refuse in lots of places that are not catered for, and so on and so forth. What do you think that is arguably doing to the mind of the citizenry? Don't you think that it has no way to change the attitude of that individual who walks by the wayside and he sees refuse that is not attended to? Don't you think that is a systemic issue?
Well, somehow we may think that government is not doing enough, and I agree government is not doing enough. But the truth of the matter is that people have got used to having free things. You have built a house, you want to generate refuse, you don't want to pay for its evacuation. That is not to say that the government it should be expensive to evacuate. People don't want to pay for evacuation of their refuse. People don't want to pay tax. People don't want to do anything. Everything they want government to do for them.
Are you sure it's not a case of people not wanting to pay, or it's because they see that even when they pay, they don't get the value for their money? I want to believe Nigerians are not scared of paying bills. But when such bills are not used for what it is meant for, then it becomes an issue.
That is one of the things I was saying, that, well, we may blame the government that maybe they are not doing enough, but that is not enough for people to not want to pay to this. Even in advanced countries, people pay for their refuse to be evacuated. And what is that name they call it? There you have, for instance, I'll talk of the US because I'm much more familiar with the US. In the neighborhood, they know which day the evacuators will come. So on that day, when you are going to work, or you are not going to be at home, your refuse bin is already by your gate. And when they come, they pick it up and they go. Okay. If you are at home, by the time they come, you even hear the hooting of the horn or whatever. But here in Nigeria, people don't want to pay. Okay. I remember when it started, they were even selling a polythene bag for people to buy and put it there. And then there used to be a time when they would designate a particular place where you go and dump it from every street and so on. But the world has advanced beyond that. Is either you buy your own refuse bin and put it in front of your house, so that when they come, they pick it up and take it away. But people don't want to pay. So when it is raining, I come outside, the drainage, the gutter in front of my house, I evacuate everything there. Water will carry it away because I don't want to pay. And then you know that it's going somewhere. Then this thing goes to block the little drainage, inadequate drainage system we have, and then we continue to blame the government. Citizens must learn to be responsible. It's like the example I gave. Will anybody sit down in his home and defecate in his sitting room or in his bedroom? No. So when you finish eating in your house, why do you pack the plate from the dining table or the sitting room to the kitchen to wash? Why not leave it there? But people don't want to do anything. not do what we are supposed to do. What we need to do is to call them out and say that, okay, we are paying for this, you are not doing it. What are you going to do? How can you ask us to pay more? That's the best way to approach it. It's not to carry your refuse from your house and then you get on the streets, on the road, and then you dump it off.
You leave it there. That's really, really true. That's just about the time we have for our newspaper reviews today. I'd love to say big thank you to Dr. Bolaji Akinyemi for being part of our show today. Thank you so very much, sir. It was really an exciting discussion. Thank you so very much, sir. So when we return, a committee of 37 persons will be constituted today to fix a new minimum wage for Nigeria. That in a bit. When we come back, please don't go anywhere.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.